Welcome to Morning Message for October the 3rd. The other day I was in need of a snack, and I opened up the fridge and I pulled out an apple. It would have been an apple from the same package as this one. And I bit into it, and I took a step back. I was pleasantly surprised at just how delicious that apple was, and I presume this one will be as well later on today when I have another snack. Obviously, it's not a delicious apple. It's some other kind of apple. We've washed them and put them in the fridge, so I don't know where the package is to tell me what kind of apple it is. It doesn't matter. It was surprisingly sweet and yet had that tartness that one expects from an apple. So I was thinking about apples the other day. I was thinking about it in a lot of different ways. My high school, believe it or not, many years ago, sold apples to try to earn money. And we bought thousands and thousands of apples and tried to sell them in packages of 4. Being kind of a supporter of the school, I bought an awful lot of packages of apples. They say an apple a day keeps a doctor away, but 10 or 15 of them brings the doctor around, and he kind of looks at you. Well, I didn't actually go to a doctor, but I don't recommend eating 15 apples in a day, even if you're trying to raise money for your high school. There were others who suggested we should sell light bulbs as a fundraiser, that would have been a brighter idea. That was the joke going around at the time, and I kind of remember a lot of us tried to eat a lot of apples. There's a helicopter going overhead right now, I think it is. It's just not a good idea to eat that many apples over the period of a couple of weeks. We ended up selling half of the apples back to the company that sold them to us. They were good enough to let that happen, and I think we broke even. I don't think we made money off of that apple sale. I also was thinking about my dad. He loved apples, and I can remember one time driving around Annapolis Valley. I don't remember what kind of apple it was, but my dad had in his mind some kind of special apple that he wanted. I think I've spoken about this before, and we drove to every orchard looking for those or that particular kind of apple. So I love heirloom apples as well. I did the same thing with Dad looking for yellow corn one year, by the way. He didn't want peaches and cream that day. He wanted yellow corn. And we found a trailer that had maybe 3 or 4 dozen back in the corner, yellow corn, and we got them that day. Russet apples are probably my favorite apple. I know that's weird, sort of like the potato of apples. It doesn't have a lot of flavor, but it has a unique flavor, and delicious, though not a delicious apple. If you've never tried a russet and you're, say, over the age of 5, I wouldn't bother. It's really something you have to grow up with. And my dad loved heirloom apples, and so do I. But this one's also very, very tasty, whatever kind of apple it happens to be. Anyway, the reason I'm talking about apples is I want to connect that experience of tasting the sugar and the flavors and the tartness and the freshness of this apple with the season of creation. A few years ago, some religious leaders around the world came up with the idea of having a focus in our churches in the fall, late summer, early fall, on creation. And, we're really good, and we have a history of giving thanks to God for the beauty and wonder and bounty of creation. And so the season of creation is meant to do that. But also it's meant to remind us of our responsibility within creation. If we have the ability to pollute and destroy, then we also have the ability to renew and assist God in that effort of recreation. and taking that responsibility for cleaning up our own mess. And that's probably really the major focus of the season of creation, that responsibility that we have to help the environment produce things like this for our use and for the use of all creatures on the earth, that we have a responsibility to begin to see ourselves as part of an ecosystem where every animal and every plant has a right to their existence. And the church has a role to play in encouraging government, business, educators, everyone to pursue that worthy goal of cleaning up the mess that we created. The season of creation comes to an end tomorrow. We are going to have a blessing of the animals at the end of our service. People, I hope, will have their pets on their laps if they're watching online. And we've received the names of several animals as well. We'll include those in our prayers tomorrow. And, the season comes to an end with this kind of mixture of the end of the season of creation and St. Francis of Assisi Day, which is coming up, and really an opportunity for us to close the season appropriately. But in reality, our responsibility doesn't end at the Amen and the end of the service tomorrow. Our responsibility continues to help renew God's creation. So if there's anything you can do, if there's anything any of us can do, even just speaking to a politician that comes knocking at our door, or I guess phone calling us now, if there's anything that we can do to encourage the renew of God's creation, then we should do it. And I hope and pray that all of us have the strength to continue this effort well past this season of creation, and make it a priority in everything we do. God bless. Amen.